So far, all we've been labeled as is, we're the pit bull city. So that's kind of a negative name on us. I mean,
whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? I mean, yeah, really.
Oh, wait a minute. It's nobody's fault.
We've been talking about 18 months.
I know, and that's why.
Hey, members, let's go back to the question at hand. We have the legislation. Hang on a minute. We've got the legislation here. Ms. LaCorte, we've got this piece of legislation here. This is what we're talking about. We don't need to talk about another 18 months. I'll guarantee that.
No, we don't.
If this is a legislation we have, and it is specific. It says whether it would be banning any dog that had been declared vicious, either through the county or through our own appeals board. And the other item is very specific, as listed here. This is this piece of legislation. If there's some other type of legislation that anyone has interest of changing or doing, we need to bring that forward and then move on. I mean, we can debate this. I mean, this is specific. This does not agree with what you just said.
Okay.
Would the city are the residents satisfied with what has currently happened and where we currently are with protecting our city as far as safety with dogs?
Okay. I was beginning to think maybe I was barking up the wrong tree. I didn't mean for that to come out that way.
Those are the two items. I mean, we move forward with this, or do we now have a different piece of legislation altogether because what you did say is different than what this states.
Right, and I wouldn't have a problem asking the people, are you
satisfied with
do you think that the measures put in place, have gone far enough to offer protection for the citizens, or do you think the council should look for more measures, stiffer penalties, whatever? I would be in favor of doing something like that.
I won't change the second half of this because I think that's a very important part of this. If you guys want to work on changing the first part, then I would be able to probably not be able to, but I would consider that if I felt the wording would be more leaning towards the safety. If that's what you guys want to do, because I think that's the main thing. One, are you safe? And if you're not safe, is it due to these breed of dogs?
And I tried that, and no words were changed at all, even though I tried. So,
I don't have, I should have brought my phone.
Even when I brought up about incident, which is where I really had problems with the first one, with incident. That could be anything. Where I was trying to turn around to let the board that we have in place look at those and decide, not just a random incident.
Well, and again, I think if we're going to change the first question, then I think it should be changed probably completely from what me and Leo both have, and go for a more direct question.
I didn't mean for it to be the only one. I only wrote that up to send you to give you a different proposal of an idea. It wasn't that mine has to be perfect. I just thought, here's what.
No, and it's not about being perfect. I think it's both that we were both trying to get the question that would bring us the most answers to what we've been through the last 18 months.
And the second one, I had just changed it to just be, should we ban breed?
Well, you have by dog
breed specific
on a dog by dog basis, and I'm not real.
Well, if it's by incident, it has to be by dog.
That could be any dog, though.
If a judge rules that a dog is vicious, you want somebody to be able to override that and keep the dog in the city?
There was case law. I'm not a city attorney, of course, but I do get a daily reporter, and there was an issue that did go before down to the county where they did state that a dog was improperly designated as being dangerous. It did go to the Court of Appeals.
And that's the way it should go.
And it was then reversed, where the dog that had been labeled as dangerous was then no longer dangerous by this particular court through
Well,
in the
that's
city of
where it
Gahanna,
should be
then it went down to
handled.
Franklin County.
But yeah, and I think you're
So now you're talking
insinuating-
about incidences versus,
Yes, and I think
type of
you're
dog.
insinuating that the dangerous and vicious board would have the ability to do that, and that is a misstatement. It is not true.
Well, I'm not
I
going
was
to end the
talking-
argument tonight. I mean, I know that
It's not an argument. I
Councilwoman
just don't like it when you make
LaCorte,
statements that are false.
I'm going back to, I think that Councilwoman's legislation is just, I mean, it's easily understood. There's only two issues. Should we ban pit bulls from the city, yes or no?
Jackie, you gotta
No
remember,
other
these
things.
guys gotta vote on it. So, you know, it has to be where, I mean, all the work that's going to go through is gonna be nothing if we don't have their support.
And,
Well, I
and
understand that.
I would like to answer your question you just asked. And it's, the board would not be overturning the federal or the court system. What they'd be doing is banning that animal from our city. Because just because it's on the vicious list does not mean it's banned. So then they would have another avenue to go down to say, okay, it's vicious and we don't want it here because we think the owners are not responsible enough to keep our citizens safe. So it gives the board the right to then do a further, I think Bob put a different name on it, I can't remember.
At-risk animal.
And then ban that animal from our city.
And, you know, here's the thing, that if you're talking about somebody that owns a dog, and the dog, I'll say it happens to be a pit bull, and they are irresponsible,
Right.
what's to prevent that person from being just as irresponsible with another breed of dog?
Right. That's what we
correct.
So, you know, getting rid of that one particular breed of dog is not really going to solve the problem. The problem is the people that own the dog.
Right.
I mean, they could get a German Shepherd or a Rottweiler or a
Lab.
Chihuahua,
Anything.
anything. But I mean, that's the problem. You know, we're
And I think that's what we have set up or created to try and
Right.
address and not discriminate against people's personal property rights and any breed of animal.
You yourself said that you thought that the board needed more time to see if it worked.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not saying it won't work. I've never made that statement. I'm just saying that, you know, again, you know, I don't want to get into the conversation of, you know, the people that have come forward and spoke. You know, I know there's relationships at this table, and you know, but we should have a relationship with our whole community also.
I believe there's a lot of programs trying to be implemented in the community with a spay and neutering program, microchipping. I think over 40 people
Yeah.
signed up at National Night Out.
Well, and again,
So there's a lot of effort being made in different areas to help
Right.
resolve this issue, and I think in time it'll bear out. I mean, we just passed legislation last week to put animal control back on the street. I mean, let's give peace a chance.
And I
Let's
know